Sight for Wight, talking news for Friday the 30th of October 2020.
Alison reading from the Island Observer. West Wight Primary School plans go in for approval. Proposals for the new Yarmouth Primary School in Freshwater have moved closer as council officers apply for permission for new school buildings. Plans were submitted by the Isle of Wight Council to demolish the former All Saints Primary School on School Green Road. After a year-long dispute, the Freshwater School would close to tackle the surplus school places in existing primary schools in the West Wight. Following the closure, a new purpose-built development would go ahead and Yarmouth Primary would move into the new facilities built on the site of the old Freshwater School. There was opposition from those in Yarmouth who did not want the town to lose its school. The Isle of Wight Council has been awarded funding from central government of £4.5 million to cover the costs of the new build. Now, Isle of Wight Council planning officers have put the application for the new school buildings forward for conditional approval. The application will go before the Council's Planning Committee on Tuesday, November the 3rd, where councillors will decide the fate of the building. According to planning documents, the current school is poorly arranged, with areas suffering from subsidence, structural cracking, dry rot and water ingress. The applicants say the buildings are not suitable for modern-day primary education. The existing nursery on the site, however, would be retained as it is. 2 objections to the application were made by the public, none from public bodies. One said, despite the incorporation of reclaimed ragstone from the current school in the new build, some more should be added to acknowledge local history of the school, which has played a vital part in all aspects of West Wight life for 170 years and survived 2 world wars, instead of the new building looking like a factory. 2 letters of support were also submitted, one saying it is really great to have a modern, purpose-built school proposed in the most suitable area, whilst also leaving the green space and the woodland areas. The other came from the Council's Cabinet Member for Education, Councillor Paul Brading, who said the previous building needs urgent repairs, and the commitment was given to provide the West Wight with a new, well-equipped, one-form entry school fit for pupils now, but also the long-term sustainable future. He said, the plans submitted deliver on all the requirements for educational achievements and environmental requirements, and will give the long-term sustainability promised. I fully support these plans being approved. In the planning officer's report, they said the application represents an opportunity to significantly improve the educational facilities on the site. Officers asked for 15 conditions, including more planning documents, an arboreal method statement and highway construction management plan, and materials submitted to and approved by the council before any development starts, as well as the building cannot be occupied until parking, storage facilities are provided for a minimum of 50 scooters and 16 bikes.
This is Howard reading an article from the Island Observer about Green Island grants. Homeowners on the island could receive up to £10,000 towards the cost of making their homes warmer and more energy efficient. The Isle of Wight will be one of the first places in the country to benefit from a new allocation of government money, thanks to a successful bid by the Isle of Wight Council. The council has teamed up with the local Footprint Trust charity to deliver the project and help people through the process of applying for this local grant. They're looking for owner-occupiers and landlords who would like to save money on their energy bills and give their homes a green makeover. The total grant available is up to £10,000 per household for owner-occupiers, with landlords eligible for up to £5,000 per property. Under the scheme, low-income households will be able to apply for grant funding to cover the cost of hiring tradespeople to upgrade the energy performance of their home. This could fund insulation, a green heating system such as a heat pump, draft-proofing, double glazing, solar panels and other energy efficiency measures. Welcoming the news, Councillor Steve Hastings, Cabinet Member for the Environment, said, "To secure this level of national funding is a fantastic coup for the island. These grants will support those most in need by helping to raise the energy efficiency of their homes, cut energy bills, and reduce their carbon emissions. At the same time, the scheme will reduce fuel poverty on the island and help to phase out the installation of high-carbon fossil fuel heating. We're also working closely with the Isle of Wight College on training and apprenticeship opportunities to support local jobs in green construction and trades." Speaking for the Footprint Trust, Ray Harrington-Vale said, "The Green Island Grant gives a great opportunity for Isle of Wight households to save money, keep warmer, and reduce their impact on the environment. We're looking for households now to get in touch and find out if they're eligible and maybe save up to £600 a year on their energy bills."
This is Den reading from the Island Observer. Remember, hedgehogs in November. Watch out for wildlife on bonfire night. That's the message from Isle of Wight Hedgehog Rescue, IWHR, in Seaview, who are asking people to build bonfires on the day they are to be lit to save hedgehogs and other wildlife from appalling suffering. Building fires on the day will not only save wildlife from burning to death, but will also stop the bonfire from getting soaked if it rains the night before. Jackie Wilson of IWRH said, "Fortunately, so far we've never had a badly burned hedgehog brought to us here on the Isle of Wight, and we'd like to keep it that way. So please, everybody, be very, very careful with your bonfires. With the lack of organised displays this year, there are likely to be even more bonfires lit at home, so it is more important than ever to be careful. Bonfire material should be moved to clear ground just before lighting. Never put it on top of a pile of leaves, as a hedgehog may be hiding underneath. If you must build your bonfire in advance, erect chicken wire around it, holding it in place with stakes. The wire should slope outwards at an angle to make it difficult to climb, as hedgehogs are surprisingly good climbers. Light the fire from one side, keeping people away from the unlit side so any hedgehogs can hopefully escape. If a bonfire is left unattended while being built, even for a short time, check for hedgehogs and other animals before lighting. Hedgehogs hide in the centre and bottom of piles of wood, so gently lift the material section by section with a wooden pole. Never use a spade or garden fork, as these can stab them. Listen for a hissing sound, the noise hedgehogs make when disturbed. If you do find hedgehogs, collect as much of the nest as you can and place it, with them, in a high-sided box with plenty of newspaper or old howls. Put air holes in the lid and make sure it is secure, as hedgehogs can make quite amazing escapes. Wear garden gloves to protect your hands and avoid getting human smells on them that will make them stressed. Put the box in a safe, quiet place and provide meaty cat or dog food and water until the bonfire is finished. Then release the animals under a hedge or near a stack of logs. In July, the hedgehog was placed on the red list for British mammals, meaning it is now officially at risk of extinction. But every other mammal on the list has more legal protection. 84 islanders have signed a national petition asking the government to address the issue. But 2 weeks ago, the government said there are no plans to give hedgehogs further legal protection. You can sign the petition at petition.parliament.uk/petitions/550379. Isle of Wight Hedgehog Rescue are on Facebook at Save Our Hedgehogs or call them on 613145.
Hello, this is Steve reading a story from the Island Observer, headlined Refugee Hijackers Released. 7 refugees who caused a major security alert on board a tanker off the coast of the island on Sunday, that's October the 25th, continue to be questioned by police. The men, all Nigerian nationals, were detained after a suspected hijacking following a Royal Navy operation to free the crew, but were bailed yesterday evening, that's October the 29th. The drama took place on board the Nave Andromeda, which was situated approximately 6 miles off the coast of Bembridge. The vessel had been travelling in the direction of Southampton, having sailed from Lagos in Nigeria. It was reported that a number of stowaways were on board, and they had made threats towards the crew. An emergency alert was raised shortly after 10 p.m, and members of the Special Boat Service Commandos, based in Poole, were involved in the operation, as well as 6 helicopters. The SBS team were lowered onto the tanker and took just 9 minutes to capture the suspects. All 22 crew members were recovered safe, and none required medical attention. The SBS operation was authorised by Defence Secretary Ben Wallace and Home Secretary Priti Patel. Mr Wallace said afterwards, "I commend the hard work of the armed forces and police to protect lives and secure the ship. In dark skies and worsening weather, we should all be grateful for our brave personnel. People are safe tonight." Isle of Wight MP Bob Seeley said, "Any incident on an oil tanker is clearly dangerous, especially when it is close to the island and the major shipping lanes into the Solent." Thankfully, Sunday's operation ended swiftly and decisively. "I would like to thank all those involved in the operation, including Hampshire Police, Lifeboat and Coast Guard Services and the Armed Forces. I also thank Defence Secretary Ben Wallace and Home Secretary Priti Patel for showing strong and clear leadership. The Home Secretary is looking to overhaul the UK's asylum system to ensure it is firm but fair. I welcome this and look forward to hearing more about it in the weeks and months ahead," a Hampshire Police spokesman confirmed on Wednesday night. Officers were granted a further custody extension to question 7 men following a maritime security incident off the Isle of Wight. The men were arrested on suspicion of seizing or exercising control of a ship by use of threats or force under Section 9, brackets 1 and brackets 3 of the Aviation and Maritime Security Act 1990, and remained in custody until yesterday evening. The 7 arrested men have subsequently been bailed in relation to the criminal investigation, while investigators continue their inquiries, but they will now remain detained under Border Force powers.
Iona, Island Observer, news in brief. Homes set for a lifetime. Housing associations Sovereign are to replace all fixed-term tenancy on 3-bed properties and below with assured tenancies, giving their tenants a home for life. 4-bed properties and above are excluded from the agreement, as there is a shortage of them. Stay safe this bonfire night. Scottish and Southern Electricity Network is reminding everyone celebrating Bonfire Night to ensure fireworks and bonfires are kept a safe distance from overhead power lines, substations and transformers. Incident at MHI Vestas. Fire crews and ambulances were called out to MHI Vestas in Stag Lane in Newport on Wednesday night, 28th of October, following reports of an incident involving hazardous materials. It was dealt with by staff and the emergency services stood down.
This is an article from the Island Observer, read by Terry. Vectis Radio celebrates an MBE for Volunteers award. Local radio station Vectis Radio is celebrating being awarded the Queen's Award for Voluntary Service. The award aims to recognise outstanding work that benefits local communities and is the highest award given to volunteer groups across the UK, equivalent to the MBE. The award was presented to Ian Mack, Vectis Radio's founder and director, by the island's Lord Lieutenant Mrs. Susie Sheldon. Ian said he was immensely proud of all the Vectis radio team, many of them volunteers. He added that the whole team has worked really hard to provide listeners with programmes that would inform, entertain and inspire. In fact, everything a local radio station should do. The work of local performers, musicians and writers is also strongly represented, which is extremely encouraging for them. Because the station is staffed by local people, it provides a reflection of the thoughts and feelings of many Isle of Wight residents. Somehow, Ian and the team, by including a wide range of topics in the programmes and an eclectic range of music, managed to attract all age groups among the station's listeners. During this particular time of isolation and lockdowns for many, Vectis Radio has provided an invaluable source of information and entertainment. In fact, listening to Vectis Radio can feel like a good natter with friends and neighbours about local news and events.
This is Sue reading an article from the Island Observer. Businesses and charities come together to ensure children have meals during half-term. Big-hearted businesses and charities across the island have come together to ensure our children have meals during half-term after Conservative MPs, including Bob Seeley, voted against extending a scheme put in place while schools were closed during the COVID crisis. However, a variety of measures to help the children have been set up all over the island by individuals and businesses who were not willing to see island kids go hungry over the holiday. Mark and Charlotte Kelly and Greg Barnes of Socialising Buddies were so moved that they stepped back from the business to work full-time on the project, raising more than £7,000 to support businesses offering food to those in need. And they plan to help families over Christmas as well, using any money left over from this campaign. Mark said that the response had been phenomenal. He said, "We were absolutely bowled over by how many people have got involved. It all started when I called Gary Peach of the Happy Haddock in Shanklin and offered him £500 to give 500 portions of chips to kids who were going hungry this week. He immediately upgraded that to Happy Meals. Since then, it has just snowballed beyond belief. We've had so many offers of help. It has been phenomenal." He said he couldn't thank everybody enough, and it was important that islanders knew that they just have to ask if there is a need. He was scathing about Mr. Seeley's vote. He said, "I was disgusted. He should be fighting for the people he represents and supporting those in need. These kids are our future at the end of the day. These are dark times. Furlough payments stop at the end of this week and many people are living on the breadline. We work with vulnerable people every day and see the need and the poverty. How he can draw a salary of over £80,000, massive expenses, eat subsidised food in Westminster and then vote not to fill children from poor families, I don't know." Statement from Bob Seeley MP. "I welcome the action that was taken to ensure that eligible children were still able to get free school meals during the period of partial school closures and over the summer holidays. The National Voucher Scheme saw over £380 million worth of voucher codes redeemed into supermarket e-gift cards by schools and families, with over 20,000 schools placing orders. The eligibility criteria for free school meals was temporarily extended. This included some groups who have no recourse to public funds. While schools were restricted from opening to all pupils, additional support was given to families in recognition of the unprecedented levels of disruption and uncertainty for island schools during this time. However, provision for free school meals is ordinarily term time only. There is already substantial additional support for islanders, such as increased universal credit, among other measures, which has already been put in place to help families through this crisis and to ensure children and their families do not go hungry. The government has put in £9 billion extra into welfare support, already and £63 million to help council support families in need. So significant additional help is already going to families on the island and across Britain.
This is Howard reading an article from the Island Observer about Island Scouts. Beavers, Cubs, Scouts and Explorers all enjoyed taking part in a county JOTI Jamboree on the Internet and JOTA Jamboree on the Air event over the weekend of October 17th and 18th. This was the first face-to-face event held since the beginning of the COVID-19 emergency. Brazil was the central theme that was enjoyed by 130 young people. Activities included cooking farofa de bananas, bananas and onions, making musical instruments including panpipes from bamboo canes, playing samba rhythms, and constructing rainforest animal masks. Most important was the opportunity to connect and chat with other young people across the world who are members of the World Scout Association. The event was organised and run by a team of volunteer leaders and young leaders headed up by Alison Burt, one of the Deputy County Commissioners for the island, who said that a fantastic weekend was enjoyed by all involved.
Alison reading from the Island Observer. Current scams on the island. Isle of Wight Council trading standards are warning islanders about a number of scams. Some people have received a phone call, supposedly from BT, saying they are laying cable in your area and are checking download connection speeds. They will ask you to run a speed test and then tell you to press Window plus R, which will give them remote access to your device. Another scam involves an email said to be from the government, advising you that your grant has been approved and asking you to click on a link to claim. This is not a genuine email. Do not click on the link. An email, looking as though it is from TV licensing, says that your license could not be renewed automatically and asks you to set up a new direct debit or pay now using debit or credit card. The TSB are also warning of an increase in the number of people who have been tricked into sending money to a fraudster's account. The fraudster calls or sends a message claiming to be your bank, broadband supplier, or even the police. They tell you that your money isn't safe and that you need to transfer it to a safe account. The safe account isn't safe at all and could be an account that they control. An Isle of Wight Observer reader in Cowes lost £14,000 to this scam. Trading Standards have also received reports from residents about scam calls claiming to be from Domestic and General, to say that insurance for their appliance has expired and trying to set up a new policy. Domestic and General have confirmed this is a scam. This can be quite a dangerous scam if you already have domestic appliance or boiler insurance, as the scammers will try to convince you it needs to be renewed and take payments from your account. You may end up paying for more than one policy. Investigators discovered one victim in Dorset was paying for 48 of these policies. Please be wary when opening emails or taking phone calls from organisations or people you don't know, and report anything suspicious to report@fishing, spelt phishing.gov.uk.
Hello, this is Steve reading a story from the Isle of Wight County Press, headlined Hour-long waits outside B&Q. Council release next phase of work. The Isle of Wight Council says the next phase of St Mary's roundabout works will help alleviate the congestion around B&Q. County Press readers had spoken of how ridiculous the traffic situation had become in the area, with motorists having to wait up to an hour to exit B&Q car park. Many en route to the Isle of Wight branch opted to return home rather than face lane limbo. One Isla resident who phoned the police and Islands Roads was told traffic congestion was not in their remit, though the latter said it would try to send people to help. Today, that's Monday, the council has announced the next phase of work at St Mary's Junction will help reduce congestion on Forest Road and the exit from B&Q roundabout onto Medina Way. The changes, which come into effect from Friday the 30th of October, include the following. Honey Hill to reopen to northbound traffic. Honey Hill will be reopened to northbound traffic once again to allow vehicles access to Medina Way towards Cowes and Forest Road. Vehicles using this route will not be able to access Dodnor Lane or turn southbound onto Medina. Forest Road, both lanes will open eastbound. Both lanes will be open for traffic travelling eastbound towards Newport onto Medina Way to reduce traffic queues. Medina Way southbound, left-hand lane for Dodnor and Riverway turn-off only. Both lanes of the dual carriageway southbound towards Newport will be reopened, but with the left-hand lane for traffic turning onto Dodnor Lane and Riverway only.
This is Den reading from the Isle of Wight County Press. Next act announced. Trinity Theatre in Cowes thrilled to reopen. What is thought to be the first play performed in front of a live audience on the Isle of Wight since lockdown is in rehearsal at Trinity Theatre, Cowes. Just 50 tickets per show are now on sale for the COVID-19 secure performances of Recipe for Murder next month, which will take place at 7:30 p.m. on the 26th, 27th and 28th of November. The short run marks a welcome return to the stage for the play's director and Trinity Theatre president, Deanna Bauman. She said, "It's such an inner buzz. It feels like doing what I'm meant to be doing, and it's bringing the theatre to life again. We have had a lot of interest in the play, and it is so wonderful that people are so keen for us to be back. We have this beautiful building. It is ours, and we should be using it for the benefit of the community." Recipe for Murder, a thriller by J.D. Robbins, centres on David Lawson, a research scientist who is not a well man. His sister, Beatty, is worried about him, and a visitor, Kit Kelly, who has moved into the neighbourhood, is also concerned. David's wife, Claire, is troubled by the situation, but feels Beatty is taking things too far as suspicions deepen on who may be to blame and motives lie within. It is hoped the community will once again get behind and support their local theatre, which has been home to Cowes Amateur Operatic and Dramatic Society since 1897. COVID-secure measures include limiting audience numbers, ensuring seating is sufficiently spaced, providing hand sanitisers, and making sure face coverings are worn throughout the performance. Tickets cost £7 and are on sale now by visiting www.caods.org.uk or phoning the box office on 295229.
This is an article from the Island Observer, read by Terry. U-turns allowed at New Junction. Cowes councillor Laura P.C. Wilcox has received more calls and emails about the new St Mary's traffic light system than any other subject this year. She said the most common question asked was, how should people return to Cowes when leaving the hospital following the removal of St Mary's roundabout? The answer she received from Island Roads and provided to residents is, "We were very aware of the need to provide U-turning options for traffic emerging from the hospital and heading to Cowes during the design of the signalised solution. Generally, U-turns are banned at multi-lane traffic signal control junctions as they either conflict with the left turn from the side road or operation of a pedestrian crossing. However, the Forest Road signals have been specifically designed to allow for U-turns which can be undertaken at the same time as right turns to Forest Road with no conflicting movements. Any reports of no U-turn signs appearing at that junction are simply wrong. If drivers miss that and get as far as the main junction, they will be signed to U-turn using the B&Q roundabout. U-turns will be banned at the Honey Hill Dodner Lane junction. Of course, most traffic, certainly staff and ambulances, leave the hospital to the rear and emerge via Dodner Lane in any event. Councillor P.C. Wilcox added that many people were blaming Island Roads for the situation, but the engineers who came up with the scheme are the ones that should be challenged.
Island Observer, family-owned bakery shortlisted to become Best Small Shop of 2020. A three-generation family bakery in Ryde has made the shortlist of retailers in the running to be named Britain's Best Small Shop of 2020. Grace's Bakery, which was established by the Redrup family in 1997, has built a reputation for going the extra mile for its customers. It runs a loyalty card points scheme with new discounts every month and in 2019 donated to more than 30 charities, schools and community groups, raising hundreds of pounds by recreating a historic product, the Isle of Wight donut. To promote island heritage, with 20 pence from every donut sold being donated to the Isle of Wight Alzheimer's Cafe. This year, the bakery ran a colouring competition asking children to design their dream cake, turning 2 winning designs into real cakes donated to the hospital and a care home. In addition to the main award, Grace's Bakery has also been shortlisted for a special award to be given to the independent retailer that's demonstrated specific innovation to combat the impact of coronavirus. During lockdown, Grace's continued baking, supplying St Mary's Hospital with sandwiches while they were unable to keep their cafeteria running. They began bagging small bags of flour by hand to help their customers during the nationwide shortage, keeping their own shop and local supermarkets stocked with flour, yeast, bread and cakes. Within 1 week of lockdown being announced, they'd created a brand new website, an online shop, and had started island-wide free deliveries, sourcing other products that customers asked for, including yeast, milk, eggs, vegetables and other essentials. The shop delivered to between 150 and 250 customers a day, 5 days a week. Sarah Redrup from Grace's Bakery said, "We are over the moon to have been made the shortlist for these 2 awards. This year has been incredibly challenging for us all and all small businesses across the UK. So to be recognised nationally for our efforts during the pandemic is heartwarming. We had to adapt our business overnight, building a small, brand new website and online shop in just 1 week. No small undertaking in normal times, and this was only achieved by everyone pulling together, getting stuck in and finding creative solutions to problems. Together our staff have kept Grace's going, and we've also had support from other fantastic island businesses in getting local produce to us. They helped us to look after our customers and our community. We've been overwhelmed by the support of our customers, and we are very grateful to the people at the Isle of Wight who have been there for us this year. We've also been surprised to have customers from as far away as Canada and New Zealand buying gifts for their island family and members." The annual Best Small Shop competition highlights the best of Britain's independent retail sector, celebrating the commitment and creativity of independent retailers.
This is Howard reading an article from the Island Observer about shoeboxes for Christmas. The team, which made over 2,000 sets of scrubs for the NHS during the COVID pandemic, are getting into gear for another marathon effort, this time to make sure that island kids having a tough time over the festive break get a little bit extra from the island community this Christmas. Nikki Morris, Elisa Shirley and members of For Love of Scrubs, the group who sewed themselves into island folklore, are setting up a scheme to put together shoeboxes full of small gifts and treats for children who may otherwise find Santa leaves them less than they wish for. They're busy organising an island-wide network of collection points for kind-hearted islanders to donate either filled shoeboxes or small gifts to be added to other items to make up boxes over the coming weeks. Elisa explained, "We're going to be doing things slightly differently to other appeals. We know there are some great schemes out there to help kids known to social services and charities, including the annual Isle of Wight Radio Toy Appeal. We're planning to work with the schools who also know the youngsters whose families are only just managing through these tough times. We know how amazingly generous our island community is and hope islanders will also support this campaign to spread the Christmas cheer a little bit wider after this difficult year. Purchases from the group's Amazon wish list are already coming into the campaign, even before it's properly got off the ground, to the delight of the team. Elisa added, "Many people have been furloughed and are living on a percentage of their usual salary or have even lost their jobs. For them, Christmas will bring extra worry and strain instead of joy. We can't do everything, but if we can help, even just a little bit, it will be worth it." The Isle of Wight Observer team are delighted to be working with this impressive group of ladies to help them bring smiles to small faces. We'll bring you regular updates on the campaign and details of how to get involved from next week. In the meantime, you can find out more, including the link to the Amazon wish list, on their Facebook page at iowshoeboxappeal. And a footnote, Dress Less, our site for white dress agency, is the Newport drop-off for shoeboxes for anyone wishing to help this very worthy cause.
Hi, this is Steve reading a story from the Island Observer, headlined, Child Rapist Faces January Sentence. A freshwater man, accused of a serious sexual offence in Yarmouth, pleaded guilty at Newport Crown Court on Monday, October the 26th. Police were called to Vote Victoria Country Park on Monday, August the 31st, with a report that a young girl had been seriously sexually assaulted in an area of woodland by a man she did not know. Following a thorough investigation involving police officers from across the Isle of Wight and the mainland, 62-year-old Graham Medway was charged with rape of a child under the age of 13. Appearing in court, he admitted the offence and was remanded in custody to appear at the same court on Friday, January the 8th, 2021, for sentencing.
This is an article from the Island Observer, read by Terry. Private Acts of Remembrance. Remembrance Sunday parades across the island have been cancelled due to the coronavirus. Instead, people wishing to lay wreaths at any memorial are asked to do so during the course of the weekend and on Remembrance Day itself. The Lord Lieutenant and the Chairman of the Isle of Wight Council will still lay wreaths on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen and the island's community on Remembrance Sunday. The annual Garden of Remembrance service at Carisbrooke Castle on Thursday, November the 5th, will be held in a very restricted form. English Heritage have agreed members of the public wishing to lay crosses in the Garden of Remembrance may do so after the service at pre-booked times between 11:45 and 12:45. You can book by emailing LIEUTENANCY, that's Lieutenancy Office, all one word, lowercase, Lieutenancy Office, at gmail.com. The Remembrance service will be videoed and available for viewing from Sunday, November the 8th. Susie Sheldon, Lord Lieutenant, said, "The act of remembrance is of huge significance to the Isle of Wight, so it is disappointing for this year we must all mark the day privately. Just as it is important to look back and remember the sacrifices made by so many, we must also look forward to a time when we have collectively worked to find a way through the virus." In the West Wight, organiser Captain Andre Osborne said, "Under normal circumstances, we would be having a parade at the Totland War Memorial on Sunday, November the 8th. This will not now take place. Wreaths, however, have been ordered by most organisations and they are invited, taking the necessary COVID precautions, to lay their wreaths at a West Wight War Memorial of their choice at a time of their choice on Friday, November the 6th or Saturday, November the 7th. If wreaths are laid as proposed, This will reduce the possibility of large gatherings. We are very happy to lay wreaths on your behalf if requested. Groups of no more than 6 must maintain a distance of 2 metres from each other or 1 metre if wearing a face covering.
Sight for Wight's short story writing competition is back, and this year's theme is The Wish. Celebrity readers are Ray Allen, Joe Brand, Melvin Hayes, and Idana Minghella. Entry forms are available from Dress for Less, 114 St James's Street, Newport, Millbrook House, 137 Carisbrooke Road, Newport, downloadable at sightforwight.org.uk, or email inquiries at iwsb.org.uk. Entry fee is £3 for under 18s and £6 for 18 plus. Closing date for entries is Friday the 13th of November at 4 p.m. Visit sightforwight.org.uk for more information, or telephone Chris on 52205.
Hello, this is Lisa, CEO Sight for Wight, with my charity update for this week's Talking News. I'm delighted to announce that we have put in place COVID secure measures to make a return to the USB Talking News. Our planned date of return is the weekend of the 6th of November. We will be sending out the USBs to anyone registered with us for this service. If you are not yet registered but wish to, please don't hesitate to call us on 522205. That's 522205. We can add you in, and if you need a USB player, we can send you one too. We will, however, be retaining our Vectis Radio Saturday and Tuesday slots, but we are launching our new VI Voices radio magazine programme instead. Each week, our 2 radio hosts will interview someone and talk informally about a topic with them. Up-and-coming interviews include Sue Rutherford, volunteer at Dress for Less, and mother to her severely sight-impaired daughter, and 2 of our patrons, crime authors Bob and Carol Bridgestock, the founders of our story writing competition. I'm also delighted to announce the return of our pub quiz this Thursday, the 5th of November, hosted by our very own trustee Paul at the Waverley in Carisbrooke. Everyone's welcome. Paul promises to make his usual fun and engaging questions. There is still time to enter our short story writing competition. This year's theme is The Wish. With adult entries of 1,500 to 2,000 words and under 18s of up to 750 words, all we ask is you let your imagination run away with you. 4 winning entries will be chosen, and we have Joe Brand, Idana Minghella, Ray Allen and Melvin Hayes lined up ready to read the winning entries. Finally, a reminder, we are always looking for people to feature in our bi-monthly newsletter, perhaps giving hints and tips to others or telling their own story. Thank you, Lisa.
This is the scaffolding news. Brading, 1 New Road. Cowes, 106 Park Road. Rope Walk, Langley Road. Newport, Exchange House, St Cross Lane. 54 Fairley Road. Card Factory, 103 High Street. 143 High Street. Ryde, 16A High Street. 44 Union Street. 23 St John's Road. The Colonnade, 1 Lind Street. Sandown, White Culver Parade. 20 High Street. 2 Pier Street. 128 High Street. Shanklin, Lloyds Bank High Street. 49 High Street. Ventnor, 32 South Street, South View Grove Road, 1 Pier Street. Yarmouth, Saxonbury St James's Street, Port House St James's Street. This is the Skip news. Brading, lay-by at Brookfield Cottages, Upper Agiston Road. Cowes, 170 Mill Hill Road, corner of Shambles Arnold Road, Gurnard, Plot, Shaw Road, Knighton, 31 Allotment Road, Ryde, 9 Millward Road, 90A Monkton Street, 20 Nelson Street, Ventnor, 27 Spring Hill.
Sight for Wight would like to thank you for listening to this week's edition of the Talking News. We would also like to thank our volunteers for reading, and a particular thank you to the Isle of Wight County Press, Isle of Wight Observer and Island Echo. A special thank you must go to Vectis Radio, who has helped us get vital information to our members. Goodbye for now.